What's up, everybody? This is your girl, Shantanique Langston, better known as Neek Speaks. I'm your personal and professional relationship coach and also the creator of the Relationship Conference. And welcome to another episode of Candid Conversations. I am super excited about tonight's episode. We got the fellas who's going to dominate real quick and give us their spiel on the qualities of a man. So make sure you guys share this video with someone you know who needs to hear this. And your brothers out there or sisters who are dealing with a man, you definitely want to tap in this conversation tonight. So without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and just dive in and allow the brothers to introduce themselves. Leon, why don't you go first?
Yeah, hi. Good evening, everyone. I'm Leon Walker, retired Navy. I served 32 years. I joined in 1983. I retired in 2015. I'm single. I have three children, three godchildren and one goddaughter. I love reading, writing. I love helping people. I love traveling. I love comedy. I love eating great food, and I love exercising. I talk about my narcissistic personality disorder. I talk about my knowledge of relationships and so forth. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm a wide open guy, honest. I'm all over social media trying to help people. So that's what I do now.
Okay. And how you guys doing? I'm Loren Bryant. I'm the creator of the Day Night app. If you never heard about it, like I said, I'm a computer engineer myself, single, no kids. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So shout out to us. But yeah, so I'm ready to talk.
All right. Y'all, like I said, I'm super excited to hear what they have to say. And if you tuned in last week, we talked about the qualities of a woman, and it's so much to unpack with just that. And I'm sure when it comes to manhood, it's a lot to unpack that you guys don't really share. And I really believe that it's important for men to share their feelings with us. We don't know everything. We cannot read your mind. We're not Mrs. Cleo, Cleo, if you know who Cleo is, the psychic, quote unquote. We don't read minds, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's important for men to have a voice. And boys, I'm a teacher and I allow my boys in my class to feel their emotions and to express what's happening so that I'm able to navigate and help them through that. So I think the same thing is required for women to be patient and to be able to channel that with men. Only if a man is going to be vulnerable enough to allow us in. But I'm going to go into that a little bit later. So I want to just give you guys a little background about the definition of quality of a man. Most men believe that being a good provider means supporting a family financially, but that's only part of it. Dr. Field says that a man should also contribute to the emotional, spiritual, physical, and mental well being of his family. I will also add to that those four components. I believe a man should be emotionally, spiritually, physically, and mentally well within himself first. I would say that before he can become that for the family. So, what does the Bible say about this? I'm not a Bible thumper, but every time I talk about anything regarding relationships, it will always tie back to the Word of God. And I wanted to say that. So, Proverbs 14:4b says, "But a good man will be satisfied with his ways, the godly thought and action which his heart pursues, and in which he delights. The naive or inexperienced person is easily misled and believes every word he hears. But a prudent man is discreet, astute, and considers well where he is going." And I will say this: a woman who is on purpose, living on purpose, if a man doesn't have a vision, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. We want you to lead us, and we're there to help you. That's why God created Eve to be the helpmate. Whatever vision you have, we're there to help to mold and shape that to where we can see where you're going. But that's only a woman who, again, a woman who knows herself, who loves herself, and able to push can see a man for where he is. So a lot of times men say, "Oh, there's no good women in my city." We say the same thing about y'all. Ain't no good men in Detroit, ain't no good men in Chicago. I gotta go far out, right? But that's not the case. And I said this last week that it's not that there are no good men or women in your area. You just keep entertaining what you are not delivered from. So that's gonna be our conversation starter. We did this last week, so I want to hear what you guys have to say now. Anyone want to take on that discussion starter?
Yeah, so it's like, first of all, good qualities of a good man, um, being honest, right? And then knowing that you had issues. Like I did a video the other day. I had, and I still have mommy issues, and I'm not ashamed of that. And it's not like that. My mommy issues, like I'm a mommy's boy, and I need 24/7 nurturing. No, I miss my mother. I miss my motherly ways, and the women that I dated, I didn't allow them to be the women that they could have been to me because I was afraid to get close to them and fall in love. So my thing was I was fighting love. I was fighting. I don't want to care. I was always running. I had avoidance issues. So good qualities of a man is being open and honest. And people say, I want to be transparent. I want to be vulnerable. That's what I do now. And Nick, it's hard. Being transparent and vulnerable is hard when you're not used to doing that. When you're used to lying all the time and deceiving and being a player, I wasn't vulnerable. I wasn't transparent, And so now it's like a woman told me, she said, Leon, it's going to always be two women that's going to put you in different directions on better paths in life. And she was right. It was always been two women. One woman says this, and another woman says this. Look, I love being a man. I'm manly. I'm masculine, and I have some strong brothers in my family. I have strong men in my life, and in my family, and in the military. And I have strong male friends now that put me on the straight and narrow. But it's different when you hear it from a woman's perspective. Just like when a woman is trying to improve herself, it's different when she hears it from a male's perspective. So I'm up to listening to women now. Before, I didn't allow a woman to tell me anything. That was part of my mommy issues. I missed my mother when she started getting high and she passed away. So I was like, if I'm not going to listen to my mother's not around, I'm not going to listen to you. You can't tell me anything. And I held it over my wife's head. I didn't let her tell me anything. So being open and honest, not being afraid to listen to a woman, is my thing now. Not being afraid to see men like, there's three main things that we like. We like peace. We like for our egos to be stroked if we're doing the right thing, and we like intercourse, right? And so those three things are pretty simple. And women will give you those things if we have to earn them. And so women have to earn things from us too. So it goes hand in hand. It's all about equality too. It's not like I'm a feminist and I'm not. It's not like I'm not a feminist. Feminism means equality, and I believe in that because we can't do everything in this world alone. I've seen women in the military lead men. I've seen some men that didn't like it. And so my thing was we have to, communication is key. It's not just communicating, but it's talking about the real things, the things that I like, the things that she likes, the things that I don't like, the things that she don't like, the idiosyncrasies. And so also we need to talk about, when I sit down with a woman, and if we're going to date, we're going to date. We got to discuss where we going with this date, because women always ask me, so Leon, what we doing? And I was like, I don't know. I never had a straight up answer because I knew I was going to be gone in about 3 months. You know what I'm saying? I knew I didn't know how to love. I knew this, but I'm not going to tell her this in the beginning, especially if I want to. My agenda was to sleep with her. You think I'm go up and say, hey, look, I don't know how to love. She's going to be gone, or I don't know how to care. She's going to be gone. So I'm like, I'm out. And so I wasn't honest. I had to learn how to be honest. And it was hard being honest. It was painful. And it was scary. So I was called out a lot about not being honest. And the women that were on to me were like, Leon, I know what you're up to. I know what you're about. I know this, I know that. And I started getting sweating and nervous. And those are the ones that I ran away from. I ran away from strong women, and I ran away from Christian women. Because it was like I was exposed as soon as I met that. As soon as I met those women, I was like, my skin started burning. I'm like, I got to get out of here, And so I couldn't run that game on them. But those women that were just like me, broken and insecure and having mommy issues and daddy issues, I was cool with that because we could relate. We both broken, you know what I'm saying? We both dysfunctional. So it's like, I ain't got nothing to lose, I ain't gonna talk about you. You ain't gonna talk about me. We're just gonna enjoy this dysfunction while we in it. You know what I'm saying? That could be 3 months. And so that's what I did. But I learned a lot. I'm 56. I didn't start going through therapy until I was 46 or 47. Had I not gone through therapy, I would be a 56-year-old thought. I know I would, and so I didn't want that for my life. I didn't want that for my kids. I have 2 sons and a daughter, and I have 3 guy kids. 3 are boys and one is a girl, and so I had to make some serious decisions about changing who I looked up to, who I wanted to emulate. And so for years, I wanted to emulate the pimps, the players, the hustlers, the athletes, the womanizers. That was normal to me. That felt good to me. I didn't want to emulate the guys that were investing and buying property and learning how to play chess and learn how to use their brain. I wasn't about that. Dysfunction was normal to me. And then top it off, it was easy for me to get women. They weren't easy. It was easy for me to get women because of their attraction to me. And then I had a job, I had my own benefits, I had my own place to live, I had my own car. So I'm like, I'm good. I'm not gonna step it up. This is all you're gonna get. And so, in the Black community, we are divided. Men on one side, women on the other side. Who's gonna do what? Who's gonna make this move? And we have to come together and understand that, talk about many things. For one, submitting. Submitting is, it's not like bowing down or giving up your strength or being a simp. Submitting is opening your heart to your partner, opening your heart and understanding what your partner wants, what she needs or what he needs or what they desire. It's not about being a simp. And I don't even get into this manosphere, red pill, blue pill, high value stuff. I just don't get into it. I made
Now where God is.
yeah, I made $120,000 in the Navy from 2006 and 2015. And I guess part of being a high value man is making six figures. I made six figures, but I was a tramp. And so I didn't, I had the job, I had the network, I had the net worth, I had the money, I had the credit score. I was a tramp. So that high value, it starts with your heart, your soul, your spirit, your belief in God, and your love to help other people. It took me a while to get to that point. I was a butthole for a long time. It got me in trouble. I was a cheater for a long time. It got me in trouble. And so I had to pull away from that. I had to stop wanting to live like that. And I had to stop wanting to be devilish all the time. I had a demonic spirit. I didn't mean to ramble on.
No, you good. Like I love when he talk because he gonna give us the real. And I want to say one thing before I have Loren go ahead and speak. You said that you would be if you did not change your ways, that you would be a 50-year-old insecure thought.
Yeah,
Like
without a doubt.
It's the awareness for me. And I tell that to anybody that I talk to when I hear them talking about, what they had to do to change, or even if they're in the midst of the situation and looking and they can see like, okay, I need to change that. When you're able to be aware of your vices and the things that are keeping you from feeling for living your fullest life, that's when you know, okay, I gotta make a change. And it's the time is now.
I knew what they were. Women were like a vice for me, but it was dysfunctional women that were a vice for me. The strong women were healthy for me, but I didn't want to be healthy in a relationship. I was all about dysfunction, and it started in my childhood because the women that molested me wound up being one was murdered by a boyfriend. She was stabbed to death, which was my cousin. The other one drank herself to death, was my cousin. So, and I saw my father date women like that. Matter of fact, before he died, he had spent 16 years with a crackhead. And he was all about that. My father's a good-looking, tall man, handsome, worked out, retired, was in the army, and he fell in love with the crackhead. And I started liking dysfunctional women like that, And so, yeah, I emulated what I saw in my dad and my uncles too. I had good role models. I had some great men. One of my uncles married for 35, 40 years. He passed away. My grandparents stayed married. My grandfather was married for a long time. So I had some great role models. I had some great they had standards, I had good men in my life that showed me the way, but I chose to go with the path of least resistance with women that wouldn't challenge me. That felt good to me. It made me feel. It did a lot for my confidence, for my self-esteem, my ego, and I lived with that, and I felt good. I felt successful, but until they started affecting my health, and it wasn't good for me, So yeah.
Go ahead, Lauren. Go ahead.
No, that was a lot. That was great. I definitely. I know you go say your opening statement that people say it's not any good men or good women in their city or whatever. That's not true. I just want to speak on that real quick before I get into the qualities part. That's not true. It's just you either haven't found somebody that has mutual feelings or you have mutual feelings for them, and the situation is viable for a relationship. So, which I'll probably touch on that later. But I feel like when those two things aren't there, there's a plenty of good people. It's just everybody that's good is not for you, and vice versa. So, you know, there's plenty of good people. But as far as the qualities are concerned, I would say it's a few, because I know people have this long list of qualities, but for me, it's more so if you can be a good leader, if you're full of integrity, if you pretty much balance spiritually and physically, mentally, stuff like that. Obviously, being a provider, and then obviously being a protector as well, because that you can't just be a provider and not protect. So,
Right.
and protection is not just physical; it's other things. But I think if you get those things down pat and just work on those, uh, that will constitute qualities of a good man. And that's not to say that anybody is perfect. It's just those are the things that you need. If you're failing at any of those, then the consequences will be very dire for you. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and definitely, and Leon just gave us a whole example and more as to why it's important to have those good characteristics
It's
in
very,
your personal life, just in
yeah,
your singleness, not even about dealing with other people, or like you said, dysfunctional people, because it's easier. You
mhm.
can relate. That woman's not working on her purpose, she's not trying to heal, so it was easy, right? Go ahead, Leon, you
you
ready?
know, and even I tell people think that you could just go through therapy and boom, you're good. Therapy was tough for me. I was in there crying. First time I had cried in like 15 years. And the first time I went to therapy was August of 2015. And I went in there, I was in there for 18 minutes, I walked out. I was like, she's like, you don't take this serious. I was like, nah. And I was cocky. Ooh, I was bad. I was like, I don't, ain't nothing wrong. And I was a senior leader in the Navy. I'm like, I don't think there's nothing wrong with me. I don't need to be here. I don't even know why I went there. I was sent, my job sent me. So the second time I went, I was in her office for 50 minutes, and she was like looking at me. I was looking at her cleavage, and she's like, Mr. Walker, can you pay attention? I was like, not really. So I tell people, when you go through therapy, you got to be ready. I wasn't ready at 46, August 2014. I wasn't ready at 46, December 2014. Come January, the little lady, my little white therapist, she's like 4'11", about 100 pounds. She said, "You come in here, Mr. Walker. I'm not gonna hurt you." So I was always thinking the women were gonna hurt. Nobody ever told me that. And people said, "Well, you're a grown man. You should have known." No, I always felt like a woman's gonna hurt me because I was hurting women. I was cheating. I was lying. I was ghosting. I was giving them the silent treatment, the love. I was doing all of that. So I always had this like fear. One day somebody gonna hurt me, and two women tried to hurt me. So I always had my guard up. And so I get in the therapy, and she said, "Mr. Walker, I'm not gonna hurt you." And I was like, "Why did you say that?" And she says, "All over your face. You like a manly man, but you come in here and you terrified." I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to be here." So I'm like crying all of a sudden, boom, bam, crying, snot running out my nose. I'm drinking all of her water. And she's like, "Calm down." The thing about what I'm saying is that when you go into therapy, you have to be ready to submit your soul. You do, because I've asked people to pray for me. I've asked God to help me, and I talked to a psychotherapist, a psychiatrist, psychologist, social worker. I was done. I was just tired of living with the devil. The devil had a firm grasp on me. I was just tired. I'd already been divorced. I just broken up with my girlfriend. My kids didn't like me. I come home, everybody running upstairs and running. I'm thinking like, yeah, y'all got it. Yeah, people scared of me. I like that. It wasn't good to have my kids to be afraid of me. And I liked it, but it was wrong. And so I tell people, if you go into therapy, you check in. Hey, that's why I talk so passionately in my videos, because I'm done. I'm tired. I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of lying. I'm tired of being fearful of women hurting me. I'm tired of thinking I'm going to hurt somebody else. I was tired of therapy. It's a lot. And so people say, man up, play football, man up, go be a boxer, man up, go be no, man up and take your butt to therapy, because it's not easy. It is not. I was afraid to walk out of her office because my eyes were puffy. I've been crying for an hour. I'm like, I can't do it, but I had to do it.
Yeah.
So I tell people, when you go into therapy, you can't just go in there and to check it off and then leave a year later. You got to be ready to like open your soul and your spirit. You got to be transparent in therapy. You got to be honest. You got to be vulnerable. And like I said, I'm a manly dude. I wasn't ready to be like bearing it all, but I was ready. I was tired. I was really tired.
That's the key word, being tired. You have to be ready to just make a change, a permanent change when your spirit, with
Yeah.
your spirit, because a lot of people don't check in with their spirit. And I've hear, when I tell people like, well, what does your spirit want? Well, no one's ever asked me that. I don't know. They
Right.
never really tapped into, what I'm saying, their spirit, man.
Yeah.
And we are spirit and we are made flesh. And we are so caught up with satisfying the flesh that
Ooh.
our spirit is always subjected to whatever the flesh is doing,
Right.
to it. So it's suppressed. So now everything's blurry because you're so busy satisfying the flesh with temporary fixes that
That's
your
exactly.
spirit man
Live that
is
life.
being suppressed, and you're doing your spirit man more damage, and now you can't hear God. You can't hear nobody. Like you said, you won't hear even a woman who's pure, who's coming to your life of good. You won't hear her because your spirit is so suppressed.
Won't hear her. Won't hear.
You know. So yes, that is so good. It's vice versa because we got women who are hot headed too. I know a whole lot of women who are hot headed as well. So I won't put that on you all. I won't do that.
Right.
Loren, did you want to add anything before I ask the other question? I know he got to go.
I was just say he was spot on with that. Like as far as being real with yourself and being vulnerable. I've never been to therapy, but I am very hard on myself and very transparent with me. So you have to be honest with yourself either way it goes. And if you need help, then obviously go to therapy if you can't find the flaws. But my motivation was from not, like women hurting men or women hurting me. It was more so I heard the things coming up of, oh, well, men aren't this and men aren't that. Men don't do this, all the negative stuff. So I always wanted to be the antithesis of that. So I was always looking at myself like, okay, am I measuring up to that?
Right.
So there won't be any complaints. But even still, you have to be real with yourself about that. In order to grow, you got to be real with your flaws. So and it's tough because some people they don't like the truth, especially when it's about them. So
Oh yeah.
it's
Oh
very
yeah.
hard.
One thing that I think it was Dr. Atkinson, or was it? Oh no, Coach Marie, and she's been married going on, I believe, 22 years. Her and her husband, and she said that the hardest person to view is yourself, and to work on is yourself. You can point out the flaws in other people, but when it comes to yourself, it's like, do I really want to do it? Do I really want to deal with that?
Yeah.
That's the
I'm admitting. Yeah, I had a hard time admitting that I have problems. Here. I am in the military. I'm getting awarded, rewarded. I'm getting promoted. I'm like, ain't nothing wrong with me. I'm better than you. I'm better. I had it bad. And no, I'm like, I want to be Sailor of the Year. Sailor of the Year 6 times. Recruit of the Year. I had to have that success. And then when I didn't have it, I'm like, oh, I get mad. Like, I'm going to do it next year. Or as soon as I won something, my happiness was always short-lived. And I didn't know why until I went into therapy, because I was always looking. I had that grandiose type of mindset. I got to have this. I got to have it all the time. But God saw me. I wasn't giving that back to people. I was really unfair. I was greedy, real greedy. And
that's
so
good.
it caught up with me though, my health.
That's good. Something that Lauren said, he mentioned about the flaws. And I always tell people that your flaws is your greatest makeup, is who you are. And the person that you are going to do life with is going to support you through that. Because sometimes the flaws, the other person that you are looking to be with, they may be strong in your flaws, and vice versa. Well, we don't take the time to get to know somebody enough to see if they are a good fit. To view our flaws, to see our flaws, and to just love us in spite of.
Right.
And that's why it takes time to get to know somebody. Take the time. I'm not sure why millennials are in this rat race, like they're seeing all these people in relationships and all that, and they see the fantasy, but they don't see what the process. No one likes process. And that's something I'm learning even in my healing journey. And my brother and I had a conversation earlier and about it, because while I'm going through my healing journey, I'm still showing up. I'm still being meek. I'm still
Right.
doing everything because that's what God told me to do. Oh no, you're gonna go through this. Okay, I'm gonna have you go through this with everybody watching, but you're still gonna show up for the people. And so I think even as a leader, it's important to get healing. Go see a therapist, and not everybody needs a therapist. Some people need to get released from trauma. And it's a whole other conversation I want to go into, but I want to speak to broken men out there tonight. if you are dealing with some brokenness, you should definitely see a counselor or get you a big brother and hash it out. Whoever has a man cave, one of your boys gonna have a man cave, go to the man cave and just chill and talk things through. If you don't have any brothers, what are your tips for men who are isolating themselves right now and don't go out and don't mingle and don't have a brotherhood? What's your message to men in that area? One of you can go ahead and
So
chime in.
I would like, I just jumping in real quick. I would like, my thing was if I was a kid like that or look for somebody, my first person would be somebody like Loren because he's mild mannered, right? People coming at me, not coming at me, but when I was younger, I did my best, but I couldn't mentor anybody because I was just a, a firecracker, you know. But I would look, but see, when I started wanting that, I would look for men like Lauren because he was mild mannered, cool, approachable. He wasn't all, you know. I didn't. I met some fiery men, and I was like, I don't want to talk to him, you know, because then I'll wind up getting mean, being mean like him, and womanize like him. I want to stop doing
Yeah,
this. So
yeah.
I would look for people like Lauren that had character, integrity, and morals, you know, way more than I did. And I'd be like, look, man, I need your help, you know, and he gonna talk to me without judging me. And those are the people that I would seek. And you know, and those are people that I seek in therapy. I didn't mean to cut you off, Lauren. I know you're about to say something.
No. You good. Yeah, I definitely believe in seeing is believing. So being around that energy, however you can, is huge. I would say if I was isolated, I would probably just try to go to social events where I know people are doing progressive things because you never know who you'll meet or who you'll connect with, who you'll get close with. And then of course, with me being in a fraternity, Phi Beta Sigma, that also helps as well too. So even for the people that, because it's very easy for, like, say for example, college students even, or people that have been to college, you can isolate yourself very
Mhm.
easily at times. So I believe that the fraternity life or things like that can actually help you as well because again, you get to meet a lot of great people uh, throughout the nation. So
Yeah,
I would do that if I was isolated. Just being around the energy will make you. You are who you are around. You are who you hang around, right? So it's gonna rub up on you some type of way.
You definitely are who you hang around. Be mindful of who is speaking life over you or saying things, because some people, and be careful what you say to them, because if you are making changes, people are going to think, oh, you being funny. No, I'm making changes in my life, and if they cannot accept that you're making changes for the better, you need to really evaluate why they are still in your life. It may be time for their season. Their season is probably fading when people start questioning the things you're doing, especially if they're things that are building your character. So I'm not sure who that is for, but if you are a man or if you are a woman and you are making changes and people acting funny towards you or saying you're being fake, you being phony, no, those people are not for you. But people who are celebrating you and clapping for you, those people are the ones that want to see you win. And sometimes you got to cut certain people off in the season when you are changing, when you are making better moves for yourself. And some people will just want to be around for the ride. But I don't want to go into that too much. I want to come back to two more things. And I know Leon got to go. If you got to go, it's okay. My next question is, how do you use discernment while dating? Women, we do all the time. Um, I will just say this real quick because my friends always get on me like, Neek, how in the way just spot on with it? Because I spend time with the Lord. Again, I'm not a Bible thumper. I just dwell in his space. I'm still human. I make mistakes, but I know when I'm dealing with a man, I want to see him. I give men chances. And of course, when I go on a date, I'm going to get information. I'm not putting my heart in it. That's why I discern because I'm not marrying you on the first date. I'm not doing that. Ladies, stop doing that. Do not marry him. Do not marry her on the first date. Because some men do the same thing too. They get clingy real quick. And I'm not the clingy type. Just put it out there. um, but I think it's very important for us not to have our time wasted. Not just women, but men too. Because I
yeah.
know there are men out there who are not just dating every woman.
I'll answer real quick because I got to hit the road. But um, you know, that discernment thing. Not everybody has it. Not everyone deserves. I didn't have it. I didn't deserve it. You know. Now, yeah, I think I deserve it. But I tell women, you know, being fair, yeah, there are red flags. We all have red flags, but it's a big topic now, just like narcissism. Red flags, but it's also okay and fair to look for his white flags. What has he surrendered? Has he surrendered? What is he giving up? Did he stop womanizing and chasing women? All the things that I was doing. And women tell me, Leon, you scared me. You make my skin crawl. You son of a. I've been called names. The other day, this lady, and I started to respond. I said, I'm not. I did respond, but I wasn't nasty. And she said, "You're such a narcissist." I'm like, "That's what I talk about." First of all, then she said, "You on here running game, and you just you elicit you make these videos to elicit some type of response." She just went on and on and on and on. And then she had nerve to say, "I'm a Christian, and so I'm going to extend to you the grace that God extends to me." But so I'm like, how can you say that and then tell me you're going to take it back? God doesn't operate like that. So the people that are Christians and saying, she called me a liar. She lied on me. She called me out of my name. She judged me, all in this little post. And I didn't say anything. I said, hey, I just responded um, maturely. And then just yesterday, a lady was like, I like your video, but I don't trust you. And I'm like, I understand you don't trust me. You shouldn't. You don't know. I just, but, and then they always go back to say, but, God this is God that. And then I'm like, you know what? Is it discernment or is it not discernment? It's like,
that's good.
Understand me? Are you going to work with me? You're going to give me I don't ask these questions, and I don't even expect it. I'm just doing what I was chosen to do. That's why I don't have fears of being vulnerable and transparent. I don't have fears of being open. I don't even have fears of like blowing up, because some things people have said to me, it would trigger me, but I don't get mad anymore. I don't. I come to peace. And I mean that, so that was my answer to your question. I got to get out of here. I got to hit the road, but thanks, Loren. It's nice meeting you. And Nick, as always, thank you for allowing me to speak. And let me know when you're going to do it again. I'd love to come back.
Yes, thank you so much, Leon. You have a good night and have a good weekend.
All right, y'all be safe.
You too. Right.
Okay.
Yes, he's amazing.
Yeah, I know, right? He has a lot of experience and knowledge, I can tell.
Yes, a lot of wisdom. He's been a part of my conference before, and a few of my podcast segments. So you guys make sure you check him out. He was on here about a couple of months ago. So if you are watching the replay, you always go back to my channel, Nick Speaks, and view one of his interview, and it was amazing. I can't remember what we talked about, but I talked about so many different things. But I wanted to piggyback off what he said, and I wish he was still on when I mentioned this. And again, with the discernment or intuition, when you're on a date, I don't read people right away. I get to know a person. And like he was saying, what happened even in the comments, people are going to be peopling. That's just what they do, and they're going to be talking out of turn and put God in it and pick it out. People are just going to do that, especially when you are fighting or against the grain, when you're being vulnerable, telling your story, your truth, and people are going to try to read into it too much. That's just how it is with social media. But if they saw him in his face, they probably wouldn't say that. They'd probably be trying to get on. But that's how women are. you know what I'm saying? Yeah. That's how, that's how they do. What are your thoughts about intuition for men to use it who are dating with a purpose? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm not really into the intuition thing. I'm more practical with it. So with me, it's more so, okay, how is this person interacting with me? Are they giving me the same level of effort, or are they trying? Are they reciprocating certain things? Are they making themselves available? Are they making it seem as though they want to be a part of my life? That type of thing. Like, it's just building on and on. And I would say too, like I said before, is the situation viable with them as far as like the red flags thing? I mean, of course, nobody is perfect, but it's just some things where you're like, okay, you've been hurt from this past situation. You may not be ready for a relationship right now because you're taking out on me now, and this is the first date, and it can happen. So that's the stuff I look for. Like, okay, how viable is this, and how are they interacting with me? And if both of those are okay, then it's pretty much good at that point until obviously something changes. But again, nobody's perfect either. So you can't just say, oh, I see one red flag or one wrong thing and I'm done, because that's kind of a big thing right now. It's the microwave society where if you sneeze wrong, it's over. So, Yeah, it's not even about a feeling or intuition. I mean, of course, if God tells you, so be it. But it's more about just being practical and being sensible too. You know, being
Hmm.
fair, knowing that everybody's not perfect because you're not. But at the same time, if stuff is too far left, then you may want to exit. So
Yes, that's
yeah.
when the intuition would kick in. Yes, I like you said being practical. That's why I said in the beginning, I give a man a fair chance.
Mhm.
But if it's some BS, God gonna tell me right away. It's a no, sis. Because sometimes like, oh Lord, okay, he cute, but it's no. It's like why? And then you ask why, then you find out after you then gave him like 510 chances. Like, oh, that was it. But I showed you that in the beginning. So that's what I mean by like you don't want to waste your time, ladies, but you do want to, like you said, be practical. You do want to give a man a chance and get to know him. You can't date him, marry him on the first date, and then yeah, it's you gotta get to know a person and then allow your intuition to tell you, okay, what is this? Maybe go on that first and then second date if he qualified for the second date, if she qualified for that second date, then you start to see, okay, we're spending a little bit more time on a third date, fourth date. What's going on, bro? Like, what are we doing? That's where it starts to change just a little bit. And you start seeing like, okay, I'm just hanging out with this person, or are we actually dating? So that's where you have to start having a conversation about what we are actually doing. But I don't want to go too much into that. I do want to have one more question. Well, a few more questions, well, two. The first one is, what are standards, and why do men? Because men do lower their standards sometimes, just like we do.
Mhm.
So, can you answer that in two, like those two questions in one?
Yeah, I would say standards is just stuff that you say, okay, I'm not going to accept anything lower than this. Like these are the things I need. This is the level that I won't go lower than. As far as like, okay, I can accept some things. Like maybe you're a person that okay, I can accept that this person has one kid or whatever, but if they got two, three, four, five, then it's like okay. Or if this person is, you know, not making X amount of money or whatever, it's like okay, I can deal with that. But if they're not doing anything at all with themselves, then you can't obviously date them. So it's just a measure stick of okay, what's the lowest point I'll go to, and then what are some things I actually need versus want. Because we can want a lot of things, but what are the stuff that you actually need? And for men, I think we lower our standards, quote unquote. As far as I would say, just looks. For example, if you're a woman and you're a 10, but you're not feminine, you're not nurturing, you're not really very much of a helpmeet at all. You're just showing up, you're there. That's cool. It looks good, but I'll probably pick the 8 that has all the qualities I just said. Just because in the long run, I mean, the looks won't really permeate through the rest of the relationship, and you need that as a man. Like you need that for your kids, you need that for you. Because the look stuff, it gets old after a while. Not to say you don't appreciate it, you don't like it, but you know, again,
Oh, and that hurt a lot of brothers' feelings right there. Because they want this trophy. And I'm gonna tell you right now, the trophies get rusty over time. They just do. But a woman of quality and standards who knows how to build her house, that's somebody you should consider. But I will always tell men who are single, what type of woman do you need? Not want, but need in your life. What type of woman can you see yourself growing with? That's how you know how to navigate and date properly. When you begin and look at your life and see what type of woman can fit in that, how can she be that piece? Like Leon said, peace is number one. A lot of my male friends will tell me, I'm looking for home, not a home, but home. And they say it's peace. That means peace. So I will always tell men, like, okay, well, if you're looking for peace, then do you have peace in your now? Because you can't expect her to, you shouldn't expect her or take her peace. It should be adding to.
because the
You should,
second if she leaves, it's over. You back to dysfunction again. So
yes, yes. I just don't, I be telling these men, like, y'all be picking them. Y'all sure know how to pick them. Um, how can I maintain so here's a good one. How can I maintain standards without feeling like I'm missing out? Because sometimes Women do it. They'll be like, I'm gonna settle for this because ain't nobody checking for me. Same thing for men. So I think with some men, they will, how do they maintain their standards without feeling like, okay, I gotta still test the waters.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it goes back to what do you really need versus what do you really want, And it's certain things you can want, but again, you got to be reasonable because you can't let FOMO get you to a point where you just with somebody just to be with them. I mean, if that's the case, we all could probably be with somebody, but are you going to be happy? And I mean, that's the
Yes.
real part about it is if you're not happy, then what's the point? You could be
Yes.
miserable on your own, or you could be happy by yourself. So you
Okay.
should definitely be happy with the person that you're with. Like that's one of the most important decisions you could possibly make is who you ultimately be in a long-term relationship with and marrying things like that. So you have to be happy. Like that part has to be there. You have to be happy with them. You have to be satisfied with them. Because I mean, again, if you're not satisfied, a lot of times that's what leads to cheating. That's what leads to
Mhm.
resentment, divorces, everything else. So it's not worth it to feed into the FOMO, even though I know it's hard. Like right now with the social media life, you see everybody getting in relationships. It seems like everybody
Mhm.
is booed up. But then if you just zoom out a little bit, you'll see like, well, this person was booed up for 3 months. It didn't last. It wasn't real. So why even waste time doing all that? You could just focus on you be single, do your thing, and then find that right person or find somebody that's at least would be worth pursuing. So
Yes, that was so good. Yes, because I was dating someone and we didn't hit it the 3rd month mark. I made sure that wasn't going to happen because I saw the flags. Like, hold on, bro. And he got caught and he tried to gaslight me. I'm like, bro, do you know who I am? And I was not having it, and I cut it off. And I had a friend I reached out to, and she was like, oh, I'm so sorry. Well, I want you to be encouraged. And I'm like, you must don't know me for real because I was happy before he came into my life. And I'm gonna be
exactly.
happy when he gone. Which will happen. I will still have my peace. He was the one that needed my peace because he didn't have it. Right. And so and the thing is with us, we are nurturers by nature. Women we are nurturers. But the Lord had told me, like, no, this is not it. And I ignored that thinking like, but I gave him a chance. Again, I wasn't using discernment none of that. I was just, being who I am and just giving a man a chance. And we're supposed to do that. Should you be jumping into something? Absolutely not. We were dating and that was it. I would let everybody know, like, nope, we're not together. Nope, 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 nope. Ladies, you have to tell people you are free. When you're dating, you're still single.
Yeah. Like
Go ahead. Am
no,
I
no,
correct?
yeah, you are. I mean, like I said before, we only get to do this life once. So why waste months and months and years sometimes just focusing on one person versus you can test the waters and see what else is out there too. Like, hey, you available until it's official. Until it's official, you single. I'm all
Yes,
about titles. I know some people are against titles, but I'm all about titles because that defines what this is, what the rules are. So no
that's
rules, we not together. So
Yes,
that's
yes,
that.
yeah. I agree with you on that about the title as far as when you are dating and if we're exclusive, because it was like he was put on a facade like he wanted to be in. But I believe this too with men. Some men, I'm not saying you, some men want to take the picture so they're gonna post it. So if you post it, other men not gonna tap in or DM you and all that. That happened to me. As soon as I did not post to do anymore, then what happened? Oh, what's up? Uh,
Yeah.
so men be knowing. Look, you smiling like, am I lying, bro?
Hey, if I don't see you post somebody for a while, I'm gonna think.
See, that's how. See, so some men do that on purpose, and he did that because he wanted to be in a spot. But ladies who are on purpose, and you follow again, you want to attract all kind of men and women. I would say the same thing, vice versa. But it's up to you on how you're going to interact with them. Okay, so I will always tell you guys that too. So this is amazing. I want you to talk a little bit about your brand, what you do, and why. Because I'm curious about why you started the app.
Yeah. So it's an app called Date Night, and basically it's an app that'll tell you all the best spots to go in your city, all the best restaurants, nightlife attractions that you can do for dates and hangouts in your city. So it's for free. You can download it on Google Play and App Store. Uh, but we're in 6 cities right now too. So Detroit, Chicago, Houston, Atlanta, Dallas, and LA. And we're looking to grow to even more cities, more major cities. So definitely go and download that. Even if you're traveling one of those cities, you can still look on the app and know exactly what to do as if you're from there. But I started honestly because a lot of great ideas or just ideas in general start from people complaining. And I will hear all the time where there's nothing to do in Detroit. There's nowhere to go. And I'm like, it is. You guys just don't know about it. You keep going to the same spots or doing the same stuff. And then me and my sister was talking about it. She was like, you should make an app for it. I'm like, you're right. I should. And then the pandemic happened and we had that downtime where everybody was basically off work and I had enough time to actually build it and make it. And here we are. So.
Wow. Look at that. Come on, sister. We thank you, girl, for telling him to do that. Because I know a mutual friend of mine, Reynard, he had told me about you a while back. And at that time, I was dealing with so many different people. And people don't realize that when you're dealing with so many different personalities, it can wear on you. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to write him down. I'm going to put him over here on a sticker. So I'm going to go through my list of people. So that's why it's important. People out there who are speakers and looking for opportunity, you just never know when it's going to be your turn. But always be prepared. You just never know when because you don't know who's watching you, who's doing research on you. I'm just putting it out there as a nugget. But this is amazing that you did this, and it's not just in Detroit, you guys. Not just in Michigan. It's in other states. And can you run those states again?
Yep. So Detroit, Chicago, LA, Houston, Dallas, and Atlanta.
Oh wow, yeah, those are the hot spots.
Yeah, the hot
So
spots.
yeah, that was smart. You did good. You did that, sir. Okay, so you guys make sure if you are in the LA or California area in LA, or if you are in Illinois, Chicago, and if you're in Dallas, was it Dallas, Texas,
Yep, Dallas, Houston.
and then Georgia. If you're
Yep,
in
Atlanta.
Atlanta, Georgia, what was the other one?
Here, of course, Detroit.
And of course, Detroit, Michigan. Definitely make sure you guys tap in with date night. You guys can go to his Instagram and tap in with him on at date night. That's the Instagram handle, right?
Yep. DATNITE.
And
Yep.
then of course you guys make sure you download that app. It's called Date Night. Just type
Yes.
it in, and it's the logo like a D. Is it D? Was it DC?
Yeah, so it's like a D and then a crescent moon, of
Yeah.
course.
So you guys see the shirt. He got the logo on. He was ready tonight. He was representing for the brand. That's how you do it. I didn't do it tonight, but but this was an amazing conversation. I'm so grateful that you were able to come on tonight. I gotta have you back again. Definitely gonna have to have you back
Definitely
again
would love to come back.
soon. Everyone who's watching tonight, this is my last candid conversation for the month of September. I will be back in October. We have the month, of course, of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and I have two guests that will be sharing their stories. One is a counselor who is a survivor of domestic violence, and the other one is an author. And she's in Dallas, Texas. So I cannot wait to have them on. And then, of course, I have another speaker in the middle of October. We're talking about the generational cycles. And my brother, Seneca Wilson, will be dropping some major gems about generational cycles. And you don't want to miss him. But I'll have more information about that coming up in another video before the end of September. So you guys make sure you guys tune in. And again, thank you all for listening. Did you have any final words you want to say to our viewers?
I would say, of course, download the app. And then, of course, like I said before, just focus on being a better you. I think that's the biggest key to all of it is just being a better you. You can't control anybody else. You can only control yourself. So if you can just work on you, become a better version of you. Don't worry about being perfect. Don't worry about, starting something and not knowing everything, whether it's something personal or whatever. Just do it. I'm telling you, zoom out and look back, and you'll be so far ahead. So,
yes, love that. Thank you for closing us out with that word. All right, y'all have a good Friday, and we'll talk to you in my next video.
cool.